Welcome to Keyframers, the animated collaborative coding livestream where we bring imaginative user interfaces to life. I'm your host, Stephen Shaw, but you may know me as @Shashaw.
And I'm your host, David Khourshid, also known as @DavidKPiano.
And together we are coding compadres, animation amigos, Boolean buddies, and keyframe companions.
Yeah, and so today we're going to be continuing work on an animation we did last week. And of course, we're going to be using HTML, CSS, and a little bit of JavaScript.
That's right. This show is made possible by your support. You can pledge at patreon.com/keyframers or subscribe at twitch.tv/keyframers. Links are available below, and you may even earn special shout-outs during the stream, even just for following or chatting along with us.
Yeah, and you might help us buy better microphones and green screens and cool things like that. We might even have pyrotechnics on the show. You never know. Yeah,
I am on board for that.
Cool. I have so many sparklers, and I really want to do something with those sparklers, and I feel like we've been incorporated into the stream somehow. So,
yes.
Ideas. Pledge your support. Anyway, we're happy to answer any questions that you all may have, so reach out in the Twitch chat or in the YouTube comments, but don't talk to the fire marshal, please.
No, please do not. Before we get started, I wanted to share a few bits of cool news. This month, David actually, let me get my screen up here. David actually guest edited the Web Animation Weekly, formerly known as, now known as the Animation at Work newsletter, and did a fantastic job. Talked about some CSS variables and a little bit about keyframers, all that.
Right, yeah, see that shout out, beautiful shout out. But and we also added a link to Shaw's splitting library in there. So that was featured as well as Notorious B1T's library as well, the scrolling library.
Yes, scroll out.
Scroll out, yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of possibilities of things to do with CSS variables. And when I first started talking about it, like over almost 2 years ago, I want to say,
I remember that
there wasn't too much on it just because it was just emerging. But now people are discovering there's so much you could use CSS variables for, especially in animations. And so that's what this newsletter highlights.
That's right. Yeah, and browser support has gotten to the point where it's feasible to roll out and not have any kinds of problems, especially if you're treating it as a progressive enhancement.
Right. It's at that browser support level where if they don't work in your browser, you don't deserve for them to work. You don't deserve to see those animations.
Well, and it's okay for you to not. You know, we're
progressive enhancement.
Right. We're firm believers in that, and there's no problems with having a little bit different of an experience in each browser.
I like to call it regressive degradation, not progressive enhancement, but
something like that.
Yeah.
Good job on the newsletter. And another little bit of news is you are actually going to be on Thunder Nerds in a couple of weeks. What is it? August 16th. So next Thursday.
Thanks for the reminder.
That's looking to be a pretty cool little interview. It's actually live, right?
It is live. It's going to be live, yes.
Very cool. Well, let me post a link to that for you all to...
So I'll be talking about state machines and animations and keyframers and all of that fun stuff. So
nice. Yeah, and you can go to that YouTube URL and actually give yourself a reminder so you can join in and ask questions and participate in the live stream.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, I think that's all I got.
All right, thanks for watching. No, I'm kidding.
You've been watching so yeah, let's get into part 2. All right, so last week we worked on this dynamic buttons animation off of Dribble by Colin Garvin, and it's just kind of this state transition for some kind of mail app with a few unique states, and then some very interesting transitions in between them. We broke that down a little bit in GIF Scrubber, and then here is where we ended up. We got our level state machine with a few different states in there, some transition code that helps trigger going between the states, and then flipping in there as well to help move some of those elements around.
Yes, so what we're going to be working on today is what I'd like to refer as phase 2 of animations. So when you're creating a user interface animation, especially if it's as complex as this one, your stage 1 is making sure that all of the states, all of the transitions, all of the basic animations are there. And then in phase 2, that's when you start to realize that, oh, we have all of these what I call micro interactions, or just smaller secondary animations, and also just refining the animation, refining the feel of it, adding easings, tweaking the timing, adding anything that might be missing, and just making it a little bit more lively. And so that's what we're focusing on today, phase 2.
That's right.
And we forgot to do some things, so that too.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely some room for improvement here, so we can get started on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking, first of all, is you know how we have this awkward sort of thing that happens when you go to the error state and then you go back to send, like it just goes right back. Yeah. I'm wondering if we could sort of make it morph back to its button form and then make it shrink, like sort of do that choreography.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we're going a little bit off of what the original animation was, but that's okay, just because with the gooiness and the edges, the original one wasn't feasible at all, unless we literally used Canvas or GLSL or something like that. So
yeah, I don't think we're gonna go that deep today.
Not today. Maybe one day.
Yeah. Okay. So is that where you'd like to get started?
Sure. Yeah. So what I'm looking at too is like I'm also looking at the transition between the loading state and the sent state.
Mm-hmm.
And so you could just imagine these as like different arrows. And I thought I had like a state machine like worked out from the last time. I lost the link. It's somewhere.
Oh yeah, I remember. That might.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that might be in the notes for part 1 of the YouTube video, if you care to go back and find that. There we go. Oh.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Oh yeah, here it is. I'll send that over to you. And there's the link in the chat. This is just a very simple chart showing our different states and the ways that they move between each other.
Yeah, so you could see basically over here you could even visually check off like which ones did we go through and which ones we did not. So like the whole sending to sent, we didn't do that yet, but send to error we did. And of course there's no error to sent. It has to go through sending. Right. So
yeah, I think sent to send is definitely an area to focus on, and then also error to send needs some work. And then
yeah, so just a lot of tweaking to do.
Yeah,
we'll get through this.
Okay, and looking back at the original animation, it looks like when you actually click the reload button or the try again button, that is what expands to become the loading bar. So I have an idea of how to accomplish that really quick. If you want to get choked up on me.
Yeah, it's such an emotional animation.
Yeah, it means a lot to me too. Yeah, I have an idea for that. So yeah, you can get to working on something.
I will. I'm going to work on between the sending and the sent state.
Okay.
And just making that work.
So one of the things we did last time with flipping, anytime you see this data flip key, that is indicating that the library flipping that David made should check out that element and try to find a match for that element when you're moving between states, and then it transitions the two so that you get that nice smooth movement, like from that button shape to the beautiful sent button, so right now when we're going from send to error and then back to the loading, we have, let's see, UI progress that has the BG key, and then in the error state we actually have a UI BG down here that has that animation that helps make it so gooey. And currently what I have happening is when it lands on this state, that UI BG is actually taking up this entire area, so that if you click resend, you can see how it kind of zooms down into that. So one thing I'm actually going to do is scale that down horizontally to, let's say, 0.5, transform origin, center left. I can never remember the order of transform origin. Is it?
Oh, so XY or something like. Nah, I can't remember either. I'm trying to sound smart, but I have no idea.
See, XY would be logical, and I would be all on board for following that. But I think since it accepts it both ways, it's always kind of confusing. Like if you use the keyword left at the last one, it still tries to do it, which is helpful. But you know, come on. Okay, so it is XY. That's helpful for remembering. Pro tip right there.
XY?
Yes.
Okay, nailed it.
And let's do this. Okay, let me get to our error state. Actually, I'm going to change the default state to error for just a moment.
You know what? I'm going to, and this is the beautiful thing about state machines, I'm going to do something that's going to make us not fight over each other, because this is getting really annoying. I'm working on the sent state, you're working on the error state, and right now we have a 50% possibility of going to either state, so we had to click through, and so it's like flipping a coin, right? I expect tails, but I keep getting heads. It's not going to work. So what I'm going to do, and this is like one of the best reasons, I'm just saying, to use state machines, so I'm going to have a go to error button and a go to sent. And so I'm just going to give this an idea of button error. Like this is just garbage code right now. Button sent, like we just wanted to go to a specific area. So in the JavaScript, I'm going to map each of those buttons. So no dot button error dot error. Wow, Shaw, your computer is really, man.
It's a very intense animation. All those SVG filters. Scale 1. This will be
all right. So in the state machine, I could I could add an action. Like this is sort of like, have you ever been to a I don't know, a theme park or something, and there's like these special cast only or employee only like hallways or areas that only they could go through. Back doors, basically.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do. So I could say on okay, yeah, so when we're in the sending state, I could on sent error. Oh, okay. Jeez, I could just do that. I don't even have to change the state machine. So sorry if my JavaScript is broken. I don't know why.
It's very broken.
What did I break? Oh, it's the semicolon. Haha. Semicolons are useful.
That tricky semicolon.
That's why I always try it. All right, so here's the deal. When you're in the loading state, if you click either sent or error, you know those buttons on the top, they're going to take you to the right area, I believe. So try that right now.
Go to sent is not working.
Well, I fixed that.
Nope. Got
Oh, it totally works.
Really?
Do I have the wrong name? No, it works.
Really?
It works. Totally works.
All right, if it's working for you.
Well, try it again. So basically, you click send first, and then while it's loading, you click the button.
Oh, okay. Okay, while it's loading, it doesn't just instantly go to that state.
Right? No,
okay.
No. Just because I did that on purpose because we want to inspect the animation between the loading and that state. We don't want it to go directly from sent to whatever those states are.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so that was all of 4 or 5 lines of JavaScript. Just to add that. Beautiful, huh?
I dig it. Right. Let's see.
Ah, this is great. Okay. So the flipping library also gives you this like, and I had to refine this. I was talking to Shaw offline. Well, it was technically online, but offline the stream about improving the flipping library. And one thing I could do is sort of model how Angular Vue and React CSS Transition Group do it, and have a data attribute for saying when the flip animation begins, when it actually started, and then when it finishes. Right now, it only tells you when it started, as in when it's active, and when it finishes. And so, I mean, I'm just going to use what we have for right now, but I'm going to just use that data flip state and transition my green background to, well, basically transparent once, like while we're animating. So, and data flip state is active. Oh no, that's not going to make sense. Just a specific one. You still there, Shaw?
Yeah, just
all right.
Observing.
Just making sure you're alive. All right, and send the background. Okay.
All right. Your changes just keep reloading me. There we go.
What?
Your changes just kept reloading everything. So.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's cool.
Is there a way to? I wish that there was a way to have it per. Well, actually, that wouldn't make sense.
We can do
or something like that.
Take off auto updating preview, and then you should be able just to click run for yourself while I click run or no run.
Oh wait, so how do I do that?
I've already changed it. Do you have a run button at the top? No.
Now I do.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, perfect.
So in theory, that won't specifically break it when we're doing it together.
Awesome. Well, let's try it.
Okay, so I think I've got that error state now. Let me see.
Right now I'm just adding an animation for the sense background because I want to make it fade out, basically. That's the 0. Do we have a duration variable? No, we don't. What the heck? Whatever.
Yeah, you can certainly create one. I think right now all of the animations are kind of their own thing. I don't think we have a general duration that they're following.
That's okay. Okay, let's run this again. And of course, it's on the error state for some reason.
Right.
Okay, let's try this out. Send, go to send. Okay, It's not exactly working.
What's broken?
So I'm trying to get to fade out all the way. Like this is animation 10. Oh, okay. That's why that flip state equals complete. All right, so yeah, basically the opacity should be 0. So opacity 0. Let's see, from opacity 1. Okay, that should work. So, and of course I keep forgetting to click run just because I'm not used to that.
I know. I always do the auto-updating preview.
Yeah, but now I'm trying to think about the border because the border does something I know. Or does it? Let's see. Yeah, the border sort of fades in with the... Yeah, you know what? I could do that. Okay, so I'm not going to animate the opacity, but I'm going to animate the background color. Now, of course, I know people are going to be like, oh, that's not the most performant way, but it's fine.
Where are you working? What line?
Yeah, so I'm animating the... So, all right, so the scent should be border none. And then we're going to add the border instead to the background because that's what's going to be stretching up. So from background color.
Oh, I don't have your fancy cursor anymore.
What color? Oh, you don't? Okay, so let's try this. So now we should have the background element that has the border and it has the background color fading out. So you click send. What happened? Oh, opacity 0, of course. It's always the silliest things. Like you will, and I accidentally favored our code pen. So
good.
But that's okay. It's a good code pen.
I always forget.
Okay.
Radio.
One more time. Let's try this. I feel like I'm making very silly mistakes today. Ah, there we go. Okay, so the scent animation right there.
All right.
Feast your eyes.
Let me rerun and let's see the fruit of your labor. Very nice.
Yeah. So what's left? Let's take a look at the error. And so if we click, oh, cool. So how did you accomplish it going from the specific button?
Because the animation only has it going from the refresh button, and when we're
that makes sense.
when we're clicking the X to go back to the initial state, we've got to figure out something to happen there. But for now, basically, I just repositioned that UIBG from spanning the full width to just being over that one button.
Yeah.
There.
One thing though, I noticed that the SVG GUI thing was missing.
Really?
Or it looks like it. It just looks like an oval zooming out. So I liked the gooiness. I really did. Oh wait, is it still there?
Yeah, it's still there. It's
okay. It's just not stretching all the way.
Yeah. Let me.
Yeah, I need it stretchy, like I don't know, like you're making pizza dough or something. Just
let's do that.
Knead it out.
And I'll slow that down a little bit. Animation duration 1.2.
But yeah, I like what you did with the going from the error state to the loading state. It looks exactly like the animation, which is just what we want. So.
All right, that's a little bit better. Try again. That feel any gooier to you? Did I lose you? David?
Well, what if you make it stretch out like really wide? Or like, just as far as the buttons go?
Well, it is, but because it's scaling down and then and the goo effect on it, it makes it essentially just disappear.
Well, what if you, instead of scaling it down, you scale wide? Or are you only doing Y? I think if you only did Y, or like scale Y down to 0, and scale X up to 2.
That's basically what I've got here. Line 210, by the way.
210.
Yeah.
So please turn your books to 210. All right, so you're scaling X2, and then you're scaling Y 0.1. I
mean, I had it as 0, but try that again.
So then I wonder why that...
And actually, one thing I can try here is removing opacity 1. Yeah, if I do a fade as it happens, then that kind of helps.
Yeah, I feel like there's some sort of illusion that we could employ here. All right, what if we make this 3? I'm going let's go all the way here.
Whoa.
Too much?
A little bit.
Let me see. Oh, perfect. Well, it goes a little to the right.
Right, that's what I'm not sure about.
There's a translate X negative 155%, which seems oddly specific.
It's a magic number, but don't worry about it.
Okay.
Well, no, I'm scaling it down so that it's the size of the button, and then positioning it over where that other button is. And so since it's width 25%, I've got to basically move it over 2 or 3 times, or
gotcha.
1.5 times to get it lined up with that other button. But yeah, I'm not sure why the transform. Oh, I know. Okay, so transform origin, center, right there.
Oh.
Yeah, because the transform origin is animating all the way up to 100%.
Fun facts. Did you know that you could? Well, you might have known this. Well, I know you knew this, Shaw, but other people. You could animate transform origin, and you get some really interesting effects by doing that.
That's right.
Now, I don't know if it's hardware accelerated. I'd like to think that it is, but
yeah, I don't think it's a very expensive animation. But yeah, we've talked about it before. And perspective origin is actually toggleable too.
Yeah. Now that you could get real interesting effects from.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see how this looks. Go to send, go to error, so stretch, and it's still going to the right a little.
And did you rerun?
I think that's because here's a funny
did you
thing
rerun?
with keyframe animations, like when you have like an in-between point, it's going to animate, like it's going to skip, I believe. So, all right, so for example, let's say you have...
Yeah, this actually could have been...
a transform on the... a transform on like a 5%, and then not on a 50%, and then a transform on a 95%. Right? It's going to pretend that that 50% keyframe is not there. I believe. Right?
Say that again?
Basically what was happening here is the transform origin was animating between this 98% and 100% and completely, or this one, and completely disregarding this one because there was no, this wasn't there.
Yeah. Let me refresh because I'm actually not seeing you in the collab mode anymore.
Do you think it's because I'm running manually?
Maybe. Let's toggle back to
auto preview. Okay, we're toggled back.
And that's more fun anyway because it keeps it dynamic and makes things refresh.
Okay, so
whoa. What?
Hey, that looks good.
Are you getting a crazy vibration effect?
It's a feature.
I think that was scroll bars triggering for some reason. At that, okay, that's weird.
Ship it. Ship it.
When the screen is 744 pixels wide, I'm getting a scroll bar for some reason.
I think that's because I don't know why that's, but yeah, we should just have a media query that completely blacks out this entire thing when it's under 744 pixels. It's just like you cannot see this.
Or just add overflow hidden. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna make a quick change to the JavaScript to use the radio buttons instead of the actual clicking buttons. That way we can control.
All right, cool. So while you're doing that, I'm going to be looking at just potentials for how we could add some of the other, some of the other micro interactions here. So even taking a look at the original send state, like when it's first active, it's an interesting effect. I don't know if I like it yet. No, I do like it. I really do.
Sorry.
Okay, we'll do that. So basically, the send button. Whoa, where did everything go? You just killed everything. That's fine.
Sorry.
The send button. It has a an animation at the very beginning where the button isn't there completely, like the send just sort of appears smoothly from there. So I'm going to take a look at that, see how that works. And so to do that, what I want to do is, let's see, and.send, or at least I think that's what it is. Let's see, send. UI button send. Let's add a modifier to that one. And I messed up everything.
I'm messing things up too.
All right. So on the UI background again, we're doing the border radius 5 rem. I know this is duplication, but that's okay because duplication is better than over abstracting at the very beginning. But I still don't see anything. Oh wait, now I do.
That was my fault.
Okay, cool. So and now things are broken.
Don't worry about it. Okay.
Oh, that's really cool. I did one small change to the UIBG, And now, like when you get to like a success state, like go to send, it smoothly
yeah.
It's really cool. It smoothly transitions from sent to send.
Yeah. And in the original animation, it has that weird state where send starts out low and then comes up with like the...
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
I really want to add that animation.
Okay.
I think it's weird too, but I think it's also cool.
Yeah.
So we're going to do animation.
Okay, the radio button should be working now.
Send enter. And that's going to be from, let's transform, I'm going to translate Y down 1 rem. And yeah, to transform none. So we're going to see how that looks. Animation, send, enter. Because since we don't have variables for this, I don't know why. Wait, do we? I don't even know. Both.
Man, I really wish I could.
I always forget the order of the animation properties too, but the funny thing is it really doesn't matter. CSS is smart enough to just look for whatever fits, you know?
Okay. Gonna refresh here really quick.
Oh, that's weird. The enter animation isn't really doing anything.
Oops.
Or it's not working, at least.
Are you seeing my cursor?
Let's test this out.
Are you seeing my cursor in the...
Your cursor, are you on the HTML?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, I see your cursor.
Weird. I can't get your cursor here, which is not amazing for the stream, because I can't find you. Let me see.
So I'm in the CSS, in case you're looking for me.
Yes.
Is it me you're looking for?
It is. Hello. Oh, jeez.
Oh, well, this is interesting. I'm supposed to be getting an animation, but I'm not. I mean, that's the whole point of the show, like, to get animations. So.
Right. That's how we start every show, David.
Yeah. It's our job. Not our full-time job, but our job. Alright, so enter, which is supposed to do something.
Let's do... I see. Where's UIBG for the error state?
See, to send enter from to. Everything's correct. But it's not working. That be why? Alright, let's try that.
What are you trying now?
Alright, so my enter animations really aren't working. Oh my god, you're gonna laugh at me.
I usually do.
If you look at the CSS, this is my failure. So this is one of the great and terrible things about CSS, is that it's very fault tolerant.
Hey, there's your cursor. Great.
Yeah, so in case you were wondering, @ animation is not a thing. It's at keyframes.
At keyframes.
Oh boy.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Now back to actually making an animation. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so that's embarrassing.
need to add a...
Oh, it's linear by default. Oh wait, it's not linear by default. You're right.
Yeah,
that's the one difference between the Web Animations API and CSS Animations, is that the Web Animations is linear by default, and that's on purpose. The CSS Animations, though, they're ease by default.
Ease by default.
That's another fun piece of trivia for you. Well, not for you, but for our listeners.
I really haven't messed around with the Web Animation API all that much.
You should. Yeah. You know what? We're going to have to do an episode on that. In fact, we have. You just didn't know it. You know, with flipping, uses the Web Animations API.
Right.
And you would know that if you read the newsletter, which you did, actually. So never mind.
Okay, I'm working on the error state a little bit more. I'm actually gonna okay, let's see. Let's do retry. Translate scale 1 x -155%. Do you like it when I read my code as I type? Is that helpful for you?
What?
Do you like it when I read my code as I type?
I do.
Oh,
just because I can't see your cursor.
Did not work.
Nice. I love it when Cubic Busy just works out. Beautiful thing. Too much there. 1.25. So what are you on right now?
I am, let me see. I am down in the error state around line 240, working on the transition from error cancel to send, but that is not working for some reason. Yeah.
The bad thing is the radio buttons don't persist.
Yeah, you'd probably add some local storage settings there if you wanted. Okay, why is that not?
So in a previous episode, I think you might remember, but this is also really useful to do. And of course, I go on about state machines, but using state machines and user interfaces is very much an emerging thing, and we're still trying to discover best practices, and building out complex UIs like this really helps. But one thing that we noticed was that by using a data attribute for the previous states, it helps a lot in like just having specific animations. So for example, I want an animation to run only when we just started. So you open up this code pen and you have this send button just animated into place. And I only want that to run the first time. So not when we go back to the send button. And to do that, I could just check if the data previous state is empty. And then we could set in the JavaScript what the previous state is. Good idea? Bad idea? I'm doing it.
I think that's easy. That's workable.
Yes. So activate state. And so I'm sure we have current state somewhere. Or what's current state? Okay, yeah, perfect. Current state. Yeah, I'm going to move that to activate. So things may be broken real quick. But they're fixed.
I broke some things, don't worry.
Current state.
Oh. Now everything's broken.
And things disappeared.
Yeah. Did you do that?
Bring it back.
Did you do that? I didn't do that.
Did you? Was it you?
No. It wasn't me. What'd you do?
Let me see what happened. So,
is your opacity not coming in for the send button?
No, I was futzing around with the JavaScript. So let me change things back. Okay, so now that works. Sorry about that. I'll do things differently.
That does work. What's that?
What are you screaming about?
So for some reason I can't get the UIBG to respond in the way that I'm wanting. For the error state, I'm basically trying to do it so whenever you're hovering over one of the buttons, that instantly moves the UIBG to that side, and that way the transition for cancel will transition out from that side, rather than hard coding it all to the left side like I originally did. Let's do 0 animation.
And things disappeared again. Sorry, I'm figuring out why things keep disappearing. When I make what I thought was an innocuous change, but maybe it's not. Or maybe it's... Oh my god. Okay, so apparently when you're doing data sets, there are certain rules for how you have to...
Are you breaking the rules, David?
Well, that's something new I learned. So you can't do, I guess, what I call sausage case, where you like just have pre-dash state. You have to actually camel case it and have pre-state.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's a little silly.
Yeah, it converts those for you.
I've never had JavaScript yell at me about what I named my properties until today. Fun.
Yeah.
All right, well, in any case, now we have that data pre-state attribute, and that's working, and so now I could target that entry animation for only when we have the pre-states empty, or let's see what it is right now. Inspecting HTML is like a game, because whenever whenever Shaw changes something, I have to re-inspect the HTML.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Okay, there we go. That's what we need. All right, so I can actually simplify this, get that out of here, and then do 5%.
UIG. And that should go there.
Everybody's so quiet tonight. Need some. Whoa, there we go. Okay, perfect. That is what we want.
Okay, Let's see if that works. Oh, are you making it go from the X over to the...
That's right.
Cool. Now I think the center one's a little too wide. Like
the scaling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, are you doing that with flipping? Yeah, you are doing it with flipping, right? So.
Yeah, but I just simplified the animation quite a bit.
Cool. It is looking great. But you made the buttons green.
Yeah, that's just for testing.
Feature.
You make things as obnoxious as possible for testing so that you can make sure that it's working.
That's true. Yeah. It would be great if we like made some testing CSS framework
that adds outlines to everything in the most obnoxious colors.
Basically red lines the entire thing, and then if you add data attributes, it like just does stuff. I don't know, but it helps you test. I don't know what you would test, but it helps you test.
Let's
actually
my buttons.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of thoughts now. That might actually not be a bad idea. Because, all right, take visual regression tests, right?
Yeah.
Like, all visual regression tests show you is that some pixels are off. But it doesn't tell you why those pixels are off. So let's say that you're doing visual regression tests, but you also have this magical test CSS framework that actually draws red lines for you. For example, where your grid lines are, where the padding is, where the margin is. Now it could tell you the reason that this element is off is because, like the margin is wrong or the padding is wrong. Like it could get down to the very specifics. And then from there it could fix your CSS for you. And then you could fire all of your developers.
So the grid?
Yes. The goal is to fire all the developers.
Right.
And replace them with robots.
Who needs them?
I'm kidding. It's a terrible goal. It's never going to happen. We were talking today about how there was a website called thegrid.io, and it was around for like 4 years or so. Really hyped up, but it was supposed to be this thing where artificial intelligence created these website designs for you. The thing, though, is it never really came to fruition. I know that there were some sites that were made from the grid, but results were mixed. And I think the consensus was that artificial intelligence can't really do design that well. Or, like, it's a really hard problem, and it's not yet been solved.
Right, because we're just figuring out, like, why we find things beautiful or why our eyes perceive things certain ways. So, it's,
right.
It's hard to program an AI
to
do that.
Right? Even when humans make designs, you're going to get 50% people who love it, 50% people who hate it. However, Nitrixon in the chat is going to solve this problem for us.
Yes.
And then we'll be out of a job. So,
yes.
Thanks.
AIs that can create other AIs that train those AIs.
Mm-hmm. Also, thank you, Noop Katz, which is Susie. She works at Microsoft. She's a really, really cool person. And she just hosted the stream for a bunch of us. Or for a bunch of people. Yeah. I don't know how that works. I'm still new to Twitch, even though we've been doing this for how many?
How many years now? Yeah, the hosting I think is when she goes offline. They'll come over to us. Oh, or just when people hit her channel while she's offline, they'll come over here. So if you're coming from Noop's channel, thanks for joining us.
So if you don't know Noop, it's Suze Hinton. And she has an excellent Twitch stream every Sunday where I haven't watched in a while, admittedly, just because I've been busy on Sundays. However, I do know it's a lot about robots and hardware and really cool keyboards and just coding as well.
Yeah.
And she's an awesome person. So.
Yeah, I linked her Twitter in the chat, and I'll throw over her switch here. Oh yeah, hey, she's currently hosting us, so that's good to see. Hi, Mom.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So please follow her if you're not following her already.
Yeah, lots of great stuff there.
She is 5 times the developer that I will ever be.
And 5.8 times the developer I'll ever be.
All right, so back to the animation.
Yes. So yeah, I'm looking back at the original. Okay, there's a little hover interaction for the error state that I'll work on, and then I think that's basically it.
Yeah. So there's a few other cool things too. You know the hover animation on the icon buttons, where like it just sort of rises up a little bit?
Right.
Yeah, let's get those in. And it does sort of a stagger thing. I'd like to call it like a mini stagger.
Where the icon transitions after?
Yeah. And so there's 2 ways that you could do this. The first way is a complicated way, and that's like assuming you're moving the parent element, and then you sort of have to do an inverse transform on the child element. It looks really weird. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
You know, just to make it go against the currents and then pop back up.
Oh.
It's weird. Or do we have a background element on those? Because if we do,
yes,
then it's just 2 separate transform animations, and then we're good.
Right. The icon is actually already being bumped, or is in its own span, and then that is transitioning in after. That's how we get that icon roll-in effect. If you watch the error state.
Yeah. So this should be easy then.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why it's good. I keep emphasizing this background pattern where you have an element, or it could even be a pseudo element just for the background. Instead of applying it directly to the parents, you get a lot more freedom when it's applied in its own elements or pseudo elements. And that way you could animate them separately. And that's how pretty much all of the flipping effects are achieved here, is by having that separate background element. And they're cheap. I know you're going to be like, oh, no, that's too much HTML, but come on. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
Well, I know you won't. You and I will readily add HTML everywhere.
The number of people that are actually going to look at the DOM is
0.
Yeah. Oh, dang it.
2.
I broke
2 people. That's my guess.
Yeah, I'm breaking something with the buttons right now. Are you working on that perchance?
No.
Okay.
You want me to?
Well, no. I did want to get your help here though, because with the CSS animations and animation fill mode, I've had the animation fill mode set to both. But that seems to be overriding a hover state. So for the BG transition, I actually had to set that to animation fill mode backwards so that the end state is fine. So yeah, right here at 268, and then the animation here at 260.
All right, so let's take a look at this. And so this is for the which part again?
So UI, this is for the error state, and then the UI buttons are the 2 buttons.
The 2 icon ones.
Yes.
And so when we hover these, you want them to transform. So what if we did, and this is just a shot in the dark, animation none on these, and see if that like cancels out the animation.
It does. But it's going to trigger the animation again after is part of the problem. I wish CSS were a lot better about allowing you to trigger animations in certain ways.
Yeah. Okay, so the UI button span. Are the icons being animated?
Yes.
So what is the span?
The span is the icon, because the icon's just a Unicode character.
Okay, so the icons live in their own span.
Yes.
Right. All right. The icons live in their own span. And so we have this translate Y over here.
Animation fill mode, none.
Oh, hey, that sort of works, I want to say. It sort of made it like shoot up, and
yeah.
Hey, that works. We just need to
make sure they're transitioning.
Yeah. Which, do you have transition on everything? Probably not. Right?
Yeah, I think we do.
Okay, so all right, that's interesting. You and I both learned something new today. This whole going to animation fill mode none in order to cancel out sort of an animation and make sure it doesn't persist through a transition.
Yeah.
If it works, we don't know if it works yet.
Well, so transition is on. If you hover over it for a moment, you'll notice the border is animating.
Yeah, but the transform itself is not.
Right, because I don't know that it's registering that it's going from a value, or the value is changing quickly enough that the browser's not doing anything with it.
Do you know that if you get just to the bottom of this button, you can make it like shake uncontrollably?
Yeah, that's always.
Are you doing
risk. It? Yes.
Awesome. That's fun. And it's fun to find these glitches in sites too.
Yeah.
Just because they're pretty hard to prevent against. They're just a fact of life.
Well, for something like that, I try to have a container element that you actually hover on, and then the inner element is what's transitioning up. For instance, here on the UI buttons, the background itself could be a pseudo element, and that could shift up, and that would be lovely.
I'm trying something
without the glitchy after effect.
The feature. All right, so since we're working on the error state, I'm going to go ahead and set the initial state to error.
You can change that in the HTML too.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Error.
There we go.
That just makes things a lot easier.
Yes.
All right, so I added some keyframes for the error button to go up. I don't know where I put it. Oh yeah, I put it there. So let's try just doing an animation there. Animation move up 1 second, whatever. So let's see, we're in the error state. All right, there we go. That works.
Yeah, until you hover off.
All right, so just don't hover off. How hard's that?
Well, just okay. make it on hover. It goes pointer events none, and that'll solve it, right? Is there a pointer events capture?
I'm thinking there's got to be a better way to do this.
Yeah, the main way I can think of is just wrapping the buttons in another element.
Actually, all right, hold on. So with the animation
movement,
what if? How is that button animation anyway? So the error buttons go to transform none, right? Or transform translate x 0.
Right, because they're starting off positioned in the right place. Hey, Santiago, thanks for joining us. Yeah, we got lots of fancy button effects here.
Okay, so let's try this. Now they're gone.
Good gravy. Get back here, bud. No.
Of course. And they're gone.
Jeez.
Okay.
Yeah. What are you trying to do?
Nothing.
So we could. Jeez, this is awful. We could have separate animations for retry and cancel, so that they are starting out in the wrong spot and then spread out to essentially transform none.
Nah.
Or we can just wrap them.
All right, so I'm thinking the UI button hover. Okay, there's that. Where's
that was the animation you made.
Yeah, so
that doesn't
actually
need to be there.
That's gone. And so the animation is only on the button, right? So what I'm thinking is the background, the actual background. That's what we should be animating. All right.
Sure.
Okay, yeah.
So UI button.
Let me inspect this, just make sure that there is a background. If there's not, then we have a beautiful opportunity here. Okay, we have an opportunity.
Make them a pseudo element.
Our opportunity is we don't have background elements on these buttons. So let's add them.
Let me see.
Awesome. UIBG. Okay, this is going to be great. So icon. So for each of these icons, if we add UIBG, which of course it's going to be full height, full width, border radius 50%, of course, and background color, let's just make it green.
Yeah.
Obnoxious green.
I might have overwritten what you did. Where are you?
Oh god. I'm in line 62.
Line 62. Good gravy. What are you doing up there?
Where are you? Where's my green backgrounds?
They're scaling out. Watch.
Yeah, but why?
I don't know. What did you do? Oh, because they are UIBG class, so they're getting the same animation as the GUI part.
Oh, well then just target GUI the... Alright, where's the GUI part? So... Can we do something like that?
Oh, good gravy.
Oh, wait, hold on. So we just need to have a better targeting of that GUI part.
Yeah.
So let's find this damn UIBG.
Got it. UI, GUI, BG, done.
There you go. Yes.
Actually, that should just be dash GUI.
Still the wrong one.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry about it.
Right, because I want our green balls to... Okay, perfect. We got it. We got it. This is great.
Yeah, let me bump the UI button span up in Z index.
So now on this hover, all we have to do is apply that to the UI backgrounds. And so now that's going to work, I think.
I don't know why people get so up in arms about CSS animation. I think we have overflow hidden, so that's actually not going to work.
Can we take it off? Oh wait, no,
yes, but that'll break things.
We can't. All right, it's time to improvise.
I'm telling you, if we just wrap the buttons with an extra element, and then that element can either handle the translation on hover or can handle the movement of them from the center to the outer area, and then the button itself is free to bounce around.
All right, go for it.
Div class equals UI button mover.
And meanwhile, I will look for another micro interaction that you might have forgotten to do, which I think got most of them, to be honest with you.
I think so. You can clean up those radio buttons if we want to leave those in.
Do we?
I don't know. It might be nice to let
I like giving people like the feeling of chance, you know,
choose
like
their own adventure.
Like they're gambling or something. Don't you like gambling?
Not when
Is that legal in Texas?
I feel like it's not, because all the casino advertisements are for Louisiana, which is like, you know, an hour and a half away. So, yeah, I think all of that happens there. Let's see.
Ooh, I know an opportunity. At least I think I know an opportunity. So when you click, like when you're going from sense to, or just kidding. Oh, maybe. Never mind. Ignore me. It's fine. I will help you with the radio buttons. Let that.
Good gravy.
It's because, funny enough, we're pretty much almost done anyway. So.
Yeah.
That's pretty great. All right, so admit controls, you have them at the top. Okay. Oh, what?
Button movers, got that animation. Is that?
Perfect. All right. See, it's almost working.
Oh, geez. Oh, man. That is... Why is that so awful looking? Oh, is it because of my outline? Okay. So, button, hover, transform, translate, y, -0.5, rims.
Alright, that's a funky effect.
There we go. Alright.
Wow.
So
we're gonna need to repurpose this for Christmas. Got this. They look like Christmas ornaments.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's do that.
You know how some artists create just order out of chaos? You know, just like, I don't know, with like messy paintings or things like that, but you look at it and it like creates this really cool shape or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I'm thinking that we could create some serious arts with like this SVG Goo effect and like just make it look like stuff. Hey, the buttons are working.
Yeah, and you could add a radio button for random chance.
Okay, fine. Actually, no. I like the... Or, you know what? Yeah. Let's do that. Okay, so radio ID equals go to error.
Where am I? UI button mover. There we go.
Then go to... That one should be checked.
Okay, great.
Okay. That's child. Right, it's kind of 2 pixels. This, by the way, is a very, very old technique. You know the negative margin for like having those lines there?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, there's not a native CSS way to style the gaps, and there hasn't been ever. And there wasn't even really plans for that, even with the advent of CSS Grid. And so in order to do that, you had to apply a full border full border like we've done now, and apply a negative margin to get the borders to overlap. And then you get that. And so that's what that is above. So right, so let's see how you did this fancy JavaScript to determine our chance.
Oh yeah, that's gonna need to be adjusted. Line 26.
Okay, so if error radio check, then you send error. If math.random, okay, so yeah, it should be easy.
Well, it just you need to add a little bit more logic there.
Else, if so, const radio for this document query selector. I'm feeling lucky. That's why I called it. Radio.check. At around 5 cents there. Send cents. Good old-fashioned if-then loops. Okay, so now the sent one should always go to sent. And if you don't mind, actually, no, you probably do mind, but I was going to change it to the initial state. But let's not do that.
No, that's fine.
You sure?
Yeah.
You got the hovers working?
Yeah. I haven't done the icon portion of the hovering, but you know.
Yeah, it's fun. Okay, so I'm going to go back to, let's see, data state equals send. Cool. Feeling lucky.
I believe so.
Also, that's weird how the colors changed.
Yeah, I did that.
Why?
Gray.
Can you at least change it from whites to gray?
Sure.
All right, because in the original animation it's gray.
Right, but in the original animation it's not over that red. That gray is.
Well, if we're splitting hairs.
Yes.
Okay. You're right.
Okay. Let's see.
All right. Take me to the error state.
Oh man.
The choreography of that would be super cool if it like turned gray just as it was escaping the goo.
What is it
that
doing now? That
sounded weird, but
yeah, I'm not sure why it feels like it's. Oh, it's the animation delay. Animation delay. Seconds. Let's try that.
cool. That feels nice.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right. Yeah. Let's review this.
Give it the old wrap. Okay. Let me see if I can get this going. Hey, there we go. We're now entering into Keyflections. This is the part of the show where we review the techniques we used to build this animation. If you have any animations, now is a great time to ask in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer.
Mm-hmm. And if you've enjoyed watching us so far, you can follow and subscribe here from Twitch or YouTube, or pledge at patreon.com/keyframers. Help us out. Links are available below. And especially if you're watching us for the first time, well, thanks for watching us, first of all.
Yeah, glad to have you.
We appreciate you.
Awesome. Okay, so let's go back all the way to the start here and talk about what we built. So this is Dynamic Buttons, an animation by Colin Garvin. That's this kind of mail state UI with a couple of different little interactions. And last time we've built a few pieces of it, and then and today we went through and just did a lot of cleanup, added in a few extra little animations, and made it all feel very nice. Let's click through. Oh man, I got the error. Stop changing things, David. error, and then okay, it sent that time. Wonderful. Sent again. Okay, let's get an error state here. Awesome. We've got a little hover animation there, and then yeah. All right. So what should we cover here, David?
Well, we were doing a bunch of refinements today. One of the ones that we did was which one we do? Oh, so adding a transition from sending to sent, and that was actually a very small part of this, but using flipping, we just did just a thing we forgot to do the last time. But we added that UIBG over to the, not the UI button mover, but to the sent button. And so we gave it the same data flip key so that we knew how to go from the loading state over to the sent state, and it transitioned correctly and positioned itself correctly so that it was in that state. And the unintended but beautiful side effect of this is that when we go from sent to send, it smoothly transitions out. And that's something that not even the original animation does. I guess because they assume that people only want to send things once, which is a correct assumption. But we want our animation to last forever. So
yes.
Yeah, and so to do that, we moved the border and the background from the button parent element over to that background element. And that's a strategy that you've seen us do in previous episodes and that you're going to continue to see us doing just because it's extremely useful to separate the background from the parent. And not many people do that in the CSS, HTML, whatever world. But it's a good idea. I think you should try it.
It is. I concur. Yes, and we use that same kind of BG techniques for the error state, how that comes in, and then how that transitions out to the other state. And then we added in those hover states that took us a while to figure out, only because we were trying to avoid wrapping an extra element around them, but that's what we ended up with because of animation fill mode and issues with that. That apparently overrides any hover effects or anything like that you do. So note that for your future animations if you use animation fill mode. But what I did to do this fancy toggle here, from going from error, how the BG comes out and goes over to make that to make the loading bar. I have it when you're hovering over the retry button, the UIBG, which is a what's the name of the tilde selector?
It's the not the adjacents, the general sibling selector.
General sibling, yes. Which
I think, yeah.
Which isn't exactly that because it's all siblings that follow that.
Right, so it's a general following sibling selector.
Right. It would be amazing if there were an all sibling selector, but unfortunately you have to target the parent and then do that. Regardless, so I have it when you're hovering over the retry button, the UIBG that follows it scales down in its width so that it's the same size as the button, and then it's translate X'd over to that position so that whenever flipping reads its position, it moves over that way.
You just make translate X'd a verb.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I verb all the things, David.
Okay.
And the same thing happens for that cancel button. It's just translated X'd the opposite way. Webster
is going to come at you.
I got a few ideas for you, Webster. Come at me, bro.
All right.
Okay, and then we added some simple radio toggle buttons at the top here, so you can choose your own state if you want. Why did you add those BRs there? You were explaining that, but
I
may
didn't.
not have been listening.
Where did those come from?
I didn't do it.
Okay, so BRs were magically added to our HTML, and it wasn't me. It was you.
No. I might have had them in there initially, and then it just you copied them. Okay, so yeah, you've got those with the borders collapsed with the margin right, and that's
Yep. So I mean that's like as simple as you could get in terms of animation.
Yeah.
And that's what helps with this is something that we were experimenting with too at the very beginning, is that we were having the trouble of going back and forth between states just because it was by completely random chance. And so now, we have these, checkboxes that we could ensure that we go to the correct state when we click send. And so we can debug it properly. But the other great thing about this is that if we wanted to go to a specific state, all we needed to do was change it in the HTML. That data state attribute, change it to whatever we want, just work on that state.
Hey, thanks, Rich for subscribing. Appreciate you.
Sorry?
Rich just subscribed with Twitch Prime, which
hey,
is
thanks,
awesome
Rich.
and helps us out a lot. Greatly appreciate that.
I just realized my head's way lower than yours. I'm sinking back. Anyway, yeah, so if you look at line 10 in the HTML, that data state, you set it to whatever you want, and you're going to be on that state. It works pretty nicely. So you can even have it on error, and that's what we were doing before. We set it to error, and we were just working on that error state without having to click through every single time. So it really helps.
That's right. Yes, Rich, we are now on Monday nights as an experiment of sorts.
We're A/B testing. It's like a month-long A/B test.
Yeah, it seems to be a good night that people don't have stuff that they're committed to, and it's nice and relaxed, a good kickstart to your week.
Yeah.
And then,
like coffee at 9 o'clock at night.
Right. And then, we can keep you company throughout the week with the replay videos when you've got a slow moment at work, or just, need to do some research to learn more about animating with the web. We'll be here for you.
Yeah. And so we were tweaking some timing, some cubic Béziers, and all of that, just making this feel really nice. But I think that's about it.
Yeah, overall, those are the main things that we tackled today. If you want to learn more, hey, we've got an hour and a half for you to go back and rewatch when we post the video. And I do recommend going and checking out part 1 if you didn't catch that last week. There's a lot of good stuff about the state machine and the general setup of things, and how we did the GUI effect for this that kind of helps with that transition.
Let's
see, let's go through and feel lucky a few times until we get a success state here.
It's a 50% chance, so...
Oh, 50% chance? I like those odds.
At least I think so.
It doesn't feel like it.
It never does it?
Ah, there we go.
Maybe today's just not your day.
Nope. Gotta try a different slot machine.
There you go.
Yeah, got it.
Nice. Okay.
All right. Well, yeah. I think we'll start to bring this to a close. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. But for now, you've been watching Keyframers, the animated collaborative coding live stream where we bring imaginative user interfaces to life. If you've enjoyed this episode and would like to see more from David and I, there are many ways you can support us. You can subscribe and participate in the live streams each week at twitch.tv/keyframers. You can also like and subscribe at youtube.com/keyframers, where we have all of the past episodes, and we'll have the video for this episode up soon. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you. Click that like and subscribe button down below. You can also tweet at us and spread the word on Twitter at twitter.com/keyframers. And you can pledge to support us each month at patreon.com/keyframers.
Yeah, and thank you to all of those who pledged so far.
Yes.
We do accept submissions for future episodes. This one was a really fun one to do, and admittedly, it was challenging. And we love those challenging ones because we're never going to say no except for the times that we do say no. That's our promise to you.
But hey, if you're feeling lucky, go ahead and shoot one over to us.
Yeah. So yeah, tweet at Keyframers with any animations that you'd like to see made, and of course you could present questions, challenges, anything to us, and we'll try to answer, address, or make sense of it on the air.
And do be sure to share this video and the demo that comes out with it across your social platforms. Just share that with people you know will appreciate it.
The Twitters, the Facebooks.
Yes.
Foursquare. Should share on Foursquare. Yelp. Please write us some good Yelp reviews.
Don't forget to check in.
Rate me 5 stars on Uber.
We have been your animation drivers, and until next week, adios, animigos.
Adios.